photographer, I love taking self-portraits, and today I want to share with you just some of the basic steps to get you started in taking your very own self-portraits and building the confidence in front of a camera that you can get more and more of those photos that you absolutely love, that you feel like yourself in, and that you can share with others. Now, I've done many self-portrait sessions. I think I probably started doing self-portraits in 2017, might have been 2018. And since then, I've definitely improved a lot on how I do it, both on the technical side as well as the artistic side. And I think self-portrait is a great way to express yourself artistically, because it incorporates so many different elements of both who you are and also what you're trying to do or what you're trying to show people. You can just be so creative and have so much freedom in doing it, especially if you take your time and really get into it. This year specifically, I've done 2 self-portrait sessions, starting with a self-portrait that I try and take every year. I started this in 2023 when I actually shaved all my hair off, and it became a kind of an annual keeping track of how my hair growth is doing. So I took these photos for the first time the week after I actually shaved my hair, which was in February of 2023. And then I took them again last year, and then I took them again this year. And so you have all 3 of those. With this one in particular, I always try and play around with shutter speed. It just kind of became a theme along with the hair growth. And I think it is a great way to both capture movement and also, in this case, capture just like in a creative way how my hair has grown and how it looks so different in that movement and using that shutter speed. So I had a lot of fun with this one. And then the second one I did was actually for my birthday, which was in April. And I did more of a theme with this one. So I was born in the 1990s, and specifically 99, at the very tail end of the 90s. But I just love the styles, like fashion, and generally a lot of the things from the 90s really appealed to me. So I decided to do a 90s themed photo shoot for my birthday. I also got my family involved, but I'll just show you the pictures I took myself. So I kind of did a bit of a group thing, which I was also in charge of that, and we used the tripod for that. And then I just took some pictures of myself. My sister actually helped me a little bit with that, but it was all my idea, and putting together, styling it, and taking the pictures was so much fun. I also incorporated a cake. My favorite color is black, so along with the 90s, the theme was also just like black wardrobe, black cake, and those were the 2 things I wanted for my birthday, was a photo shoot and a black cake. I want to take you guys step by step, getting started. Even if you've done some self-portraits, maybe this will just make it easier for you to actually get comfortable in taking pictures of yourself on your own. Let's get started. First of all, you need a camera. Which camera do you need? Depending on what other tools you are using, you could use pretty much any camera. But most likely, it would be a good idea to get one which has a self-timer. I will explain more later. Next, you will need some kind of tripod. You could use a small tripod like this one, or you could use a full-size one like the one I'm using to record this video right now. So I cannot show you, but I will put a picture right here. And lastly, you could either have someone hold the camera for you or create a makeshift tripod to support your camera. I have made so many makeshift camera stands, both before and after having a proper tripod. Because every time I forget to take it with me and then suddenly need to set up either my camera or my phone to take a photo, I just end up making something from what I have. One of the easiest ways to prop up a phone or camera is to place it on a table or shelf with something stable to support it if necessary. I have often used books, shoe boxes, or other random objects to create a little more height. And I have found a bag, a pillow, or something else that you can kind of shape to hold your camera upright very useful in a pinch. Now, once you have these 2 things, a camera and a way to hold it up, you are basically ready to start taking pictures. There are many other things which I could use to make my photos even more interesting, more fun, or just a bit more easily done. But today I want to get you started with as little hassle as possible. So don't worry about things you don't have and just go for it. Let's go through 5 easy steps that you need to take your very own self-portraits. Step 1. Choose your location. You do not have to stress about where you are going to take these pictures. You just have to know where you are going to set up, and if you have a specific spot in mind, then go for it. If you're not quite sure, then I suggest finding a place with good natural light, adequate space for you and your camera, and not too much clutter. Try and keep things simple. Step 2. Hair and makeup. You don't have to get all dressed up if you don't want to. Just make sure that you are wearing something you like, with no visible stains or mending. Make sure your hair is neat and that you look tidy, and don't forget to check your teeth. Maybe you have a specific look in mind. Whatever way you would like to stretch your creative muscle, I say go for it. But if this is your first time taking self-portraits, and especially if you are not used to taking photos in general, try not to overwhelm yourself with this specific step. Just make sure that how you present yourself is appropriate for the purpose you'll be using these photos later. If you're worried about things like what to wear, you can also check out this video on what to wear to your photo shoot. Step 3. Set up your camera. Depending on what camera, tripod, and other equipment you have, this process will look slightly different for everyone. But I'm going to try and give you a few pointers that should help give you a bit of direction. If you're taking these photos on your own with your phone, which is the simplest way of doing things, then you probably have 2 options to choose from. Many modern smartphones have a trigger for taking a photo using hand gestures, such as showing the palm of your hand to the camera. Do a little research to find out whether your phone has this feature, and find out how it works. It can be a really great way to set things up, especially if you are going to be in a position that makes things difficult to move back and forth to use the self-timer for every single photo. Pretty much every digital camera, whether your phone or otherwise, will always have some form of a self-timer. And most phones have multiple options for how long you can set this timer. You might get a little extra exercise if you're using this method, but self-timer is a surefire way of taking self-portraits on your phone or any other device. Remote activated shutter is just a fancy way of saying that you would use a remote to take your photos. Depending on what camera you are using, there are so many different ways of doing this. The 2 most common ways would be either to use an app on your phone or an actual remote sold for this very purpose. You will have to do just a little bit of personal research to find out which options are available to you, but don't discredit this method just because you are taking photos on your phone. There are many ways of doing this, either using a secondary mobile device, especially on Android, or with a remote setup. Personally, my favorite way to take self-portrait is using an app on my phone through which I control my DSLR camera. An added benefit to this is that I can see exactly what my camera is seeing on my phone screen, which helps me adjust posing, lighting, and props. But there is one other way you can also set up your camera to take self-portraits. Phone a friend. If you have someone you trust to help you out is another great way of taking self-portraits. But you might be asking, how can it be self-portraits if someone else is taking the photo? Let me explain. At the very beginning of my photography journey, I went to Australia to join a course on photography. One of our first assignments was to take a self-portrait, and I was as shocked as you to learn that you could have someone else take self-portraits for you. When our course director was explaining the concept, one of the biggest questions was, but how am I going to take a photo of myself when I cannot press the shutter button and be in front of the camera at the same time? He made a few suggestions similar to what I mentioned earlier, and then he added that we were allowed for the assignment to ask a friend to help us out. He said that as long as we were setting up the camera, positioning it, choosing the settings since we were all shooting in manual mode, and had come up with a creative idea ourselves, it was still a self-portrait, even if someone else was pressing the shutter button when we told them to. So if you have set everything up yourself and you just get someone to help you actually take the picture, it is still a self-portrait. Another great tip is to use burst mode. This is often not available while also using a timer, so you might need to be smart about how you do this, but still worth giving it a shot. Once you have everything set up, it is time for the next step. Step 4, take the photo. You got this. You know what you are doing now. Pick a pose and start shooting. Not sure about what pose to use? Try them all. The best posing advice I can give you is to just keep going. If one thing doesn't look right, then try the next. Move around, get into different positions and experiment. If you want some more specific tips on posing, then check out this video I have on the topic. Even though this can seem like the most intimidating part of the process, it is where you need to trust yourself and know that you have all the tools you need. All it takes now is a little bit of practice. And if you don't know how to be yourself in front of the camera, have a look at this other video that I made right here. Step 5, check in. Don't forget to have a look at your photos you are taking while you are taking them. Give them a quick check to make sure things like your light and positioning are correct. If they don't look right, change things up a bit. You don't want to break your flow, but you also don't want to discover later that your photos would have looked so much better if you had just tilted your camera a little bit to the right, or maybe opened your curtain a little bit for more light. And don't forget to check in with yourself. Do you like how you look? Are you comfortable? Did you check your teeth? But don't be too critical. Self-portraits are the perfect opportunity to know yourself better and to accept yourself a little bit more. To realize you are beautiful and cool and talented. You got this. Optional step, editing. Now that you have successfully taken your very first self-portraits, or maybe you have been doing this for a while and you were just able to level up your game, you can decide how you want to use them. Maybe you already have a plan, or maybe you are still looking for inspiration. Either way, give them a quick edit. You can have a look at this video that I linked below to see how I achieve a soft filmy edit, and then you get to use them for whatever you want. I hope that was helpful. I would love to see the results from using these 5 steps. Please tag me if you post them on Instagram. My handle is @AbigailYamin, and let me know in the comments down below if this was helpful. If you want to know more about photography in general, or if you found this helpful, please subscribe to my channel. I post every Friday. See you guys next week. Once you have these 2 things, your camera and tripod, 5 quick steps